First of all, I'm going to say good evening because we're coming in from Australia, and good morning to those of you that are coming in from Europe and the UK. It's amazing to see all you here, and I really am delighted to welcome each and every one of you to the Link Up Lounge. The Link Up Lounge is something new that I've been doing. This is the third one now, and what I'm actually doing here is creating a space where it's an inspiration, it's an opportunity for collaboration, and it's a time when empowerment collides. So I'm your host. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sunny Statari, and it's a pleasure to see so many passionate and driven individuals in one virtual room. It's very exciting for me. So just to give you a little bit of background, I've been in business for over 30 years. That seems like such a long time. And I've actually been growing and scaling multi-million-pound businesses, both offline and online. And the reason it's offline is because online didn't exist when I started in business. Over the years, I've actually ended up helping hundreds, probably thousands of entrepreneurs find their perfect space in the online world now, since I've been online. Now, the way that I help them is I help them with simplicity, ease, and grace. And I'm the founder of the Academy for Entrepreneurs, which is a membership community that supports a kind of more spiritual and holistic way of doing business. So today, it's not just an event, it is a celebration of the incredible journey that all of you as entrepreneurs go through. You know, the highs, the lows, the wins, the losses, everything that it takes to be an entrepreneur. So especially if you are in those sort of healing modalities, or you're in modalities that really kind of help individuals, you're a therapist or you're a psychic, and all you want to do is give away your talents for free. And actually, even if you're not those things, what we often do as entrepreneurs online, because we're being encouraged to do so, is give our talents away for free because we want to help people. We really want to see people succeed, or we want to see their transformations. So we've gathered here not just to connect, but to build a supportive community for you that understands these unique challenges and triumphs that each of you actually do face on your journey. So it's important to be part of the Link Up Lounge, because here you're not just a participant, you are a valued member of this community that believes in the power of collaboration, support, and genuinely helping you become successful without giving away all your energy. By engaging tonight, you're opening doors to, let's say, potential partnerships. You just don't know who you might meet here. You've got the ability to gain insights from seasoned entrepreneurs, and you're stepping into a network that can elevate your business to new heights. One of the biggest issues that we have at the moment, of course, is that people have become so reliant on social media that we're now seeing a bit of a downturn where people have become jaded with social media. So we have to be more creative and inventive to find new ways for you guys to be able to connect with one another. So through our time together today, you will actually hear some inspiring stories. You'll be able to engage in meaningful conversations, and hopefully you'll leave with a sense of empowerment and a handful of new connections. Well, you definitely will. So as we embark on this exciting adventure together, remember that the Link Up Lounge isn't just an event that you just show up to. It is that community that supports you, that uplifts you, and it celebrates each other's successes. So before we dive in to the event itself, I'm going to go over the agenda for tonight, so you've actually got a really good feel for where this is going to go. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a sort of round robin of welcome and introductions. We are going to then go round, and I'm having you introduce yourselves. It doesn't have to be your kind of standard elevator pitch. Just be you times two, be relaxed, and let us see your personality shine through as you introduce yourselves. I'm then going to split you up into breakout rooms so that you get the real opportunity to talk to an individual, get to know them more intimately, and it's an opportunity for you to exchange information with one another there as well. And then I have a wonderful guest on today, someone who I've been working with for a number of years now, and I find her absolutely intriguing and interesting. It's Annie Bourke, who is an animal communicator, and I will actually do a proper full-on introduction when it comes to that point. We're then going to have like a mini mastermind session. And our topic today is on what social media strategies are working for you and what isn't right now. And I've got some things to talk to you about there as well. Finally, we'll finish off with how can this collection and collaboration of people really help you moving forward in your business. And it's just a simple Google form. It's an opportunity for you to actually give all of the information about your business, all of your contact details, because the idea is that after this event, I will be sending those details out to the participants of today. It won't go to the people that did not participate, only to the people that you're connecting with here today. The next part of today's event is going to be a 15-minute presentation that I am absolutely convinced will inspire you and educate you. And this is your opportunity to jot down some questions as well, because you will be able to ask some questions of our guest. So I want to introduce Annie Bourke. Now, Annie Bourke is an international best-selling author and animal communicator. Annie has conversations with animals, living and in spirit. She conveys messages and provides peace of mind for their human parents. Animals are literally her passion. Her mission is to raise global awareness of the importance of animals. She loves enriching relationships between animals and humans. In her podcast, What Animals Tell Me, Annie shares some of the amazing conversation she's had with animals. So I said this earlier when we were in the event earlier. I don't know if any of you remember watching Dr. Dolittle when you were kids, but it was a film that I absolutely loved, and I was convinced I'd be able to talk to animals. In fact, I'm sure I manifested Annie coming into my life because she taught me so much about talking to animals. So Annie, I would love to bring you on, please.
Thank you very much, Sunny. And yes, I'm looking forward to sharing the wisdom with you that animals have shared with me. And some of what I'm going to tell you may sound very bizarre. I didn't know a lot of this until I started talking to animals 12 years ago, and I'm so grateful for the wisdom they've shared with me, because it's totally changed my world and my understanding of reality. Okay. So as Sunny has just said, I love enriching human-animal relationships and helping animal parents, as I call them, because we don't actually own animals, they own us, helping people understand their animals on a deeper level. So I use telepathic communication, which is how animals communicate with each other. And I understand it's something that we all do naturally as small children, but something happens as we grow up and we just switch off that ability. But it's something that we can reactivate again. And that's what I'm now doing in my animal communication mentorship program, so that people can communicate with their own animals, living and in spirit. I'm also a clairsentient, a clairvoyant, and a claircognizant, which is a lot of clairs, but it means that I can feel things, see things, and know things with no rational explanation as to why. I'm very fascinated with natural healing modalities. So like a number of you here, I'm a Reiki master. I'm also a crystal therapist and a clinical aromatherapist. So I combine those to support well-being for humans and animals. I've just published my third book, Crossing the Bridge to Animal Consciousness, which I particularly write to support bereaved animal parents so that they understand more about what happens when our animals pass away and some of the amazing things that they've taught me, which I'll talk about soon. And I also have my podcast, What Animals Tell Me, where I share some amazing conversations I've had with them, but also interview people who work with animals in unique ways. So for those of you who are animal parents, there's a few things that your animals would love you to know. First of all, they do understand everything that you say. Because they have free will, they choose how they respond to what you say. So if you say, don't jump on the kitchen bench, they hear you saying that, but they will work out if they want to. But if you explain why you don't want them to do something, they will then take that into consideration. As some of you are probably very aware, your animals are very intuitive and they pick up lots of things about you. And so when you're ill, your vibrational frequency level drops, and animals are very sensitive to frequencies. So they sometimes know before you do that you're getting ill, and they will instinctively spend more time with you. They might lie on you, they might lie near you. They're doing everything they can to get you well as soon as possible, because to them, you are their world. Now, they are also what I call walking mood barometers, because they understand your mood. So if they know that you're upset or sad, or something else is happening with you and you're not your normal self, they will deliberately go and do something goofy to make you laugh, or be very affectionate with you just to help cheer you up. And there's no coincidence that they're in your life. There will be a reason that an animal is with you. So telepathic conversation is how domestic animals and wild animals communicate with each other. And there's a variety of ways that they can do that. So verbal is one of the things they do, but it's interesting because when you hear them, you actually hear their voices in your head, not in your ear. It's not audible. But animals have different voices, just like humans do. So I hear different accents, different tones. I can tell when they're smiling. Some of them tell me jokes, and they're very funny with what they come out with. So they really let their personalities shine. I'll tell a different story to the one I did this morning. I had to speak with a cat and find out why he liked splashing his water out of his water bowl. And those of you with cats will know that they do like doing that. So he explained it to me, and I said, "Oh, would you like to tell Mum anything else?" And he said, "Does she want an existential expose on the physics of displacing a volume of water?" Now, I just listened to that and thought, wow, okay, he totally understood what I was asking him, because yes, you are displacing a volume of water with the paw. But to word it like that, it did make me wonder whether he'd been a science teacher in a previous lifetime. But just the words they use are so interesting, because we don't use existential expose as common words. And I've discovered that some of these animals have had past lives hundreds of years ago. And so in conversation, they will use words that they're familiar with that we don't actually use now in everyday conversation. And they also know words that I've never heard of, and I look them up and they're in the dictionary. So it's just amazing what our animals know. So when someone says to me, "It's a dog," it knows no and walk, and that's it. I'm here to tell you that they have extremely extensive vocabularies. And yes, you just do need to be aware of what you're saying about them, because they're listening all the time to what you're saying. Now, they haven't explained the thought transference technology that they use yet, but they can also send visual messages. So sometimes I get visual images in my head, or I even get little video snippets in my head to explain what they're trying to tell me. Or they can send emotions and feelings, so you can feel that in your body. And sometimes you just get messages and you don't know how you got them. I was chatting to someone yesterday just on Messenger. I've never actually met her. And we were just having a discussion about one of her animals in spirit. And all of a sudden, this word came into my head. And so I said, "Do you have an animal called this?" And she said, "Yes." And it was another animal in spirit. And she hoped that the two of them were together. And that animal was sending me a message saying that they were together. So it's just amazing the messages that they can send us to reassure us that they've transitioned safely and they're not alone. Now, having a conversation with an animal is their free will choice. So I can't actually force them to have a conversation or answer specific questions. And so particularly with our rescue animals who may have experienced significant trauma if they've been abused, they may not want to talk about what happened to them before they came to you, but they may share some of the emotional and psychological issues that they're still grappling with, just so that you can be more sensitive and patient with them and realise what's hidden that they're dealing with on a daily basis. So I get asked lots of different questions. So often, why is my animal with me? So we can delve into past lives and find out if there's a connection there. So if it's your childhood pet who's come back to you, or a soul that you've had a lifetime with previously, and they may have been a human with you or an animal. But they also take on specific roles with us. So they might be teachers, they might be guardians, they might be healers. And for those of you with animals who have separation anxiety, often these are animals who are here to be your guardians, and they may have been abused as well. And so when you walk out the door to go somewhere, they can fear that they're never going to see you again. So because they understand what you say, if you can tell them where you're going, what you're doing, and when you'll be back, that can really de-escalate their stress levels. They understand where you're going, and they've heard you confirm that you're definitely coming back. And so particularly the guardians, they can feel as though they're failing in their duty if they don't know where you are. So you just tell them, I'm going out to buy dog food and some treats and I'll be back in 2 hours. And similarly, if you're going away on holidays and someone's coming in to mind them, you can just say, I'll be away for 5 sleeps. This is the person who's looking after you. Then I'm coming home. They understand the concept of time, and they'll be counting down the sleeps till you're back again, but they will really appreciate you telling them what's happening. When our animals transition, they go through a healing process, and once they've completed that, they can come back for an energetic visit. And I don't know if any of you have experienced this here, but a number of people have told me that they've actually seen their animal running up and down the corridor. Now, to me, that makes no sense because they don't actually have a physical body anymore. They're a soul in spirit, but somehow they can put on that body so that we can recognise them and know that they've come back. Or you might hear them vocalise. So my cat Riley, when she came back for a visit, used to meow loudly so I'd know she was there. And my boy Paddy used to come back and play with my hair, and he still does, because that's what he did as a kitten. He used to sleep on my pillow and gently massage my hair. So it's lovely that they can come back because it means they can reconnect with the family again, and your living animals will sense when they're there. So if your animal suddenly starts staring at the wall intently and you can't see anything, it's likely that someone's visiting you. So they're not a threat, but it's just something that they love doing to maintain that connection. But the most powerful things they've taught me is about the phenomenon of animal soul reincarnation. And I knew nothing about this till my cat Riley let me experience it. And one morning she just suddenly passed away. She wasn't very old and she had no health issues. So it was a huge shock. But fortunately, I was in the position that I knew I'd be able to connect with her on the other side when she was ready to talk. And she was actually ready to talk that same day. So I said to her, "What did you do that for?" And she said, "Oh, I needed a new body," in a tone like that. And I thought, what? And then she said, "Stop being so sentimental. I'm coming back." And she'd been so accurate with what she'd been teaching me, I just had to believe she was telling me the truth. And she'd told her cat brothers what was going on. So they weren't pining, they weren't off their food. They knew that she was coming back again. And they actually told me it was a temporary reprieve till she was back to boss them around again. She told me what she was going to look like, and she came back. And it seems with all the other reincarnation experiences I've had, that animals take about 48 hours to integrate again. They're in a new body, they smell different. So our other animals don't recognise them to start off with. They have to recognise them on a soul level. But after that, it's as though they never went away. They've just been on a little holiday, they've had a complete body makeover, and they're back. And as I said, there's no words that can describe it. It's like a feeling of joy and euphoria and surrealness that I have all these parents saying, "Please tell my animal how much I'd give just to hug them one more time." And if it's their destiny, they come back and you can hug them for another lifetime. Now, often they come back as the same species, but they might be a different breed. And that's information they can tell me. So they can tell me what species, what breed, what gender. Sometimes they have to swap gender to come back. Sometimes that's not their preference. But if that's the body that's available for them to swap into, then they take that because that's their opportunity to get back to you as soon as possible. Some have told me the time frame that their parents will find them, and even a specific rescue agency so that the parents know where to go and look. This lovely cat here was adamant that she was coming back as a dog, and she has come back as a dog. And it's fascinating because she's played with her old cat toys, she's played with the new dog toys. The one thing she can't do in a dog body is leap up on her bed at night to go to sleep with her humans. So they've got her a little set of steps and she can climb up onto the bed herself. Now, connecting with our animals in spirit, for me as a telepathic communicator, is really no different to talking to a living animal. You're connecting with their soul frequency or energy. And this beautiful boy here taught me about the concept of code words in conversations, which is what I've called them. He was actually a blind cat when he was alive. And partway through our conversation, he said to me, "Rumpelteazer." Now, I'd never heard that word before, and I thought, does he mean Rumpelstiltskin? but that didn't make sense with the context of our conversation. So I thought, I must just be hearing things. So I ignored it. We continued our conversation, and he said it again very clearly. And I thought, okay, this is a message for his mum. So I typed a message to her, and something made me think of it intuitively. And I said, was he ever called Rumpelteazer? And there was no response for a while. And I thought, oh, she's going to think I'm crazy. And then I got this message back saying, oh, yes, I'd forgotten all about that. And apparently when she rescued him, he was living with a dog called Rumpel, and he used to get in trouble for teasing the dog. So he got called Rumpelteazer. He couldn't even see the dog, but I'm just so impressed he sent that word to me, because it absolutely confirmed for his mum that I was talking with him. And there's no way that word got in my head without him telling me. And now I've had a number of conversations with animals where they say something really obscure in the conversation, and I now know that's the code word, and then the parents explain what it means. But it's just one way of them confirming that I'm really talking with them. Now, like a number of you, I love working with crystals, and so do my cats. And so I make up big crystal grids like this one here that my cat's helping activate for me, to help support healing for humans and animals. And I also make grids to support my clients doing the mentorship program, just to help amplify their telepathic communication channel. So this particular grid was made for this cat here who had some significant orthopedic conditions and was booked to have major surgery, but he had to wait 3 months because of travel restrictions with COVID. His parents couldn't take him to the orthopedic surgeon. So we had this grid. My cats helped change the energy with it. We were sending him distance healing and praying. On the day he was booked for surgery, they redid his x-rays just to see what had happened in the 3 months. Everything had healed. There was no fractures, no malformations. They didn't need to do anything with him. So I'm just in awe of the power of prayer and the energy of crystals to support healing. So some of you may have questions for your animals, and it can give you a lot of clarity and also peace of mind getting answers to your questions. So I do offer having a conversation on your behalf with animals living or in spirit, but I also have my animal communication mentorship program where you can learn how to communicate with your own animals, and then you can get answers whenever you like, and your animals can tell you things that they want to tell you. So particularly where an animal is here to be your teacher, once you can talk to them, then they can teach you, which is part of their life mission. So my program is a 3-month mentoring program where we do Zoom conversations fortnightly, working with 2 of your animals or mine to practice a number of techniques. So as I said earlier, we do the verbal, we do the visual, we do the feelings, so that you can receive messages in multiple ways. And we do exercises so we check that animals are receiving your messages accurately. And it really does change your world and your animals' world with talking with them, because you can find out so much more about why you're together, your purpose of being together, and how you can help them. You're welcome to listen to my podcast, which is available on podcast platforms. I do offer free masterclasses every month online for animal parents, which I advertise in my group and on social media. So my private group is Consciously Understanding Your Animals, and you're welcome to join that and join the community of animal parents. I've got a YouTube channel. I've got free guides available for animal parents on my website, which is www.cosmicheartintuitive.com.au. And as I said, my 3rd book was written particularly to support bereaved animal parents. That's available directly from me for those of you in Australia, and for people overseas, you can purchase it through Amazon online. But the most important thing I can tell you is to talk with your animals every day. So even if you don't know how to talk to them telepathically, they will understand what you're saying verbally, and they just love hearing your voice and knowing that you know they understand. That will change everything. So if you can tell your animals that you love them and you're grateful they're with you, that will change their behaviour, and you may see them being more affectionate, more intent eye contact, or other changes, just because you understand that they're understanding you. It's just amazing how that works.
Does anyone have any questions? This is your chance.
I didn't mention, but sometimes our animals do take on our health issues to help us so that then we're not bearing the full brunt of the condition. And they just see that as being of service to us. So like the example you've just given, if they're giving their life up for their humans, but they can also take on health issues. So my red boy Teeny, who's in the background here, when I went on a retreat to write my 2 books, I had a really severe chest infection just before I went. Couple of days later, he's got a chest infection. Now, he can't catch it from me. He's an indoor cat. My other cats weren't sick. So then I understood he was taking that on energetically for me because he knew how important it was for me to write those books. He hadn't factored in I'd have to take him to the vet every day so they could monitor his temperature. But he got better and I got better, and I had to thank him for doing that to help me, but explain that I would feel a lot happier if he was healthy. But it's just incredible what they're doing behind the scenes to help us. Like there's research to show the physiological benefits of having animals with lowering our blood pressure, increasing our happy hormones, decreasing stress, helping reduce isolation. There's just a number of things that they do to make our lives better. And sometimes it might have been a contract, like with a huge heart connection with your sister.
Yeah.
He may have decided that he didn't want to keep on living after she wasn't there because they have such strong bonds with us. So that may have been preordained for them to go at a similar time.
It's lovely. It's just so romantic.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks, Claire. Thanks, everyone, for asking questions. And thank you so much, Annie, for doing that presentation and just giving us just a snippet of insight into the world of talking to the animals. If I could talk to the animals, that's what we should do as your intro. So I loved it. It was great. Thank you very much. So I just want to share with you very, very quickly some exciting opportunities that do actually extend beyond tonight's event. So this, as you know, is the Link Up Lounge. And it's not just a one-time gathering because you've all registered and you've all registered for all of the months for the year. So you only had to register once. Now, that's not actually pinning you down to a commitment. That's just saying, look, you've registered and you are welcome to come back. What I suggest that you do is put it in your calendar to come back next month, because the more I do this, the more it will grow and the more exposure you will get, which actually takes you away from social media. You can actually have your business exposed, what it is that you do through this community. And it is a broader community that goes beyond just the Link Up Lounge. We have the Academy for Entrepreneurs as well. And it's basically an initiative aimed at supporting entrepreneurs like yourselves on an ongoing basis. So it's not like a quick dive in and disappear. It's actually coming in for the sort of long haul, because as we know, relationships are not built on one right strike on Tinder. We have to cultivate those relationships, and who knows, we may end up being married like I did to Rock. But if you found this Link Up Lounge valuable, you'll love the Academy itself. What it is, it's basically a membership. It's a dynamic hub of learning. So there's a lot of different learning inside the portal itself. It's a mentorship and it's networking opportunity. So if you decided to join the Academy of Entrepreneurs, you'll gain access to exclusive resources that are not only resources that are done by myself, but other experts in business, mindset. You know, this video that Annie has just done, that's going in the training portal as well. We hold monthly events around planning. We do implementation together. Like I say, we network together, and we do a very specific event, which is called the Lead Generation and List Building event. So we actually work together on that very specific task, and you'll be guided by me on that as well. So if that's the whole point about it, is to contribute to your success, and if that's something of interest to you, then you can write yes in the chat below or just send me a message. Now, the other thing that I wanted to let you know about is that you also have the opportunity of being our guest speaker. So you can see that what Annie did is she presented to you, we had a discussion around her expertise, and there's a lot of other things that are going on for Annie as well. There's emails that are going out to my email list, and there's posts that are going up into the groups and personal profile. There's a lot in there. So if that's of interest to you, if you feel that you would like to be our next guest, then also drop me the word guest in the chat, or just send me a message. That's very simple.